So today's tutorial we are going to try to recreate this little floor mat or a little rug. It uses a hexagonal shaped pattern. It's worked in the round and it uses the puff stitch. So I'll try to get a little bit closer on that so you can kind of take a look at what we're going to be working on today. Okay, we're going to start off by chaining up 5 and joining the last stitch on our hook with the first stitch we made to make a ring. Some people would choose to do a cinch stitch or a magic loop, which is a great option, but for beginner friendly purposes I'm going to make my loop with a chain. And then we're going to puff stitch into that chain by yarning over, insert our hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert our hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and one more time. And we're going to keep our stitches very, very loose because we need to pull through all 4 of those and tighten it with a slip stitch. And we're going to do that another time. We're going to yarn over, insert into the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, whoops, pull up a loop, and yarn over, pull up a loop. And now once again we need to pull through all of those loops on our hook and pull a slip stitch through to tighten it. Now because this is a hexagonal shape, we need to do this 6 times. We need to make 6 puff stitches into that center loop. And again, it's very important to keep those stitches nice and loose so that you can pull through that final stitch through all of those loops without it getting tangled up or caught on the inside. And this can be very fiddly at first and hard to get used to, but with practice it can be done. So you're going to continue to do that 3 more times. We want to have 3 more puff stitches. Okay, so now we're back. We've got all 6 of our puff stitches on our ring, and we're going to join the last one together with the first one by doing a slip stitch into that top part of that stitch. So we're going to slip stitch through and pull it snug, not too tight but snug enough so that it makes all 6 of those come together. They kind of look like a flower pattern. Now for round 2 we're going to start doing 2 puff stitches in between each of our initial puff stitches. So it's a good idea to kind of use your fingers to work through and find that space in between each one, because those puff stitches are so fluffy. It's kind of hard to find that spot. So we're going to yarn over, and in between those 2 stitches we're going to make 2 more puff stitches. It can be a little bit tight with all of that yarn, all of those loops. So I like to use my fingers to kind of find the space where I need to insert my hook. And again, I can't emphasize it enough, keep those stitches nice and loose on that hook. Those nice loose loops so that it's easier to pull through on that final stitch. Sometimes it helps to kind of pinch it all together at the bottom as well. So there we go. We've got 2 in between the first 2 puff stitches. Now in the next space we're going to make 2 more puff stitches. Nice and loose so you can pull that through and slip stitch at the top. And now for the second puff stitch into this space. And you're going to continue to do this all the way around. 2 puff stitches in between each one of the initial puff stitches. Okay, we're back at the end. And now once again we are going to join our last puff stitch with our first puff stitch with a chain, I'm sorry, not a chain, a slip stitch. And those slip stitches can be kind of fiddly because they're kind of snug at the top of the puff stitch. Okay, I thought we'd take a look at the original so that we could kind of see where we are and where we're going. So we've done the first ring, and that was the first 6 puff stitches. Bring it a little closer for you. So we've done our first 6, and then we just completed our second round where we had 2 stitches in between each puff stitch. So here's 2 puff stitches, and then in between that we did 2. Now if you kind of let your eyes trace that row, that's the pattern. Wherever you have those 2 puff stitches, you're always going to have 2 puff stitches. In between them though, you're going to have a single stitch. So let's pull back a little. And you can kind of get an idea of how this is formed. Here is the row of all the doubles. Here's another row of all the doubles. And in between those are all these singles. And slowly, as you go on, it builds from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 singles, all in between those rows of doubles, or columns. I guess you would say columns instead of rows. So let's get started on round 3. Okay, so because we are going to be working into a column first, we're going to start with 2 puff stitches into the column. So here's the first one. And here's the second one. And so now that we've gotten those 2 done, the next space is going to be in between 2 columns. So we're just going to do our first single puff stitch in between the 2 columns. So this entire round is going to be 2 doubles, and then 1 single, and then doubles, and then single all the way around. So you see the next is a column. So we're going to do a double puff stitch into that column space. And that will be the pattern for this entire round. Double and a single, and then a double, and then a single. So let's get one more into this column space. Oops. It's the best thing about crochet. If you make a little mistake, you can pull it out so easily. It's one thing that's a little nicer with crochet than knitting, I find. Easier to fix your mistakes, in my opinion. Okay, so there's our second. The next space is just going to have a single. And pull it through. So continue on with that pattern and I'll meet you at the end of this round. Okay, so now we're on round 4, and I thought we'd change colors just so you can see how I do that as well. I like to join with a slip stitch. For me, it just makes things feel a little bit more secure. And you can really join in anywhere on the project that you want, as long as you're continuing to follow the pattern of 2 stitches in a column and then single stitches in between. I will say with the puff stitch, it's a good idea to work with a yarn that does not split easily. I've tried this with a very loose weave of a yarn, and it's a nightmare with all of those loops that you have to pull through. You run a yarn that's a little bit more tightly woven. The yarn I'm using today is just, size 4 acrylic yarn, nothing fancy. So for this round, there's going to be 2 single spaces in between each column. All of those single puff stitches are what form the sides of the hexagon. The columns are what forms our corners. So now we're going to do another single puff stitch. And as this grows and gets bigger, you're definitely going to notice more and more definition. It's going to look a lot less like a circle and a lot more like a hexagon with every row or every round. And again, I like to use my fingers sometimes to locate that space that I need to crochet into, because that puff stitch is so puffy. It's sometimes hard to find your spot where to insert your hook. Okay, so here's the second puff stitch in that column. And you're just going to continue in that pattern, around and around. Okay, so now we're at the end. I'm going to join my 2 stitches together with a slip stitch, just like I do in every single round. That's not going to change. It's going to happen every single round. You're going to join the last with the first. And I'm actually going to pull it through and snip it, because I'd like to show you how to do fringe, although this is not quite big enough for a rug. You could use these actually for all kinds of things. You could use them as coasters. You could make it a little bit bigger and make it a hot mat for the table. Okay, so for fringe, you're going to cut your yarn in strips all the same sizes. This is just for demonstration purposes. But basically, I just insert my hook. I fold my piece of yarn in half over the hook and pull it through. And then I pick up those 2 other ends and pull those through, creating basically a little slip knot there. And I work that all the way around. Of course, you can change up your colors. You can do 2 strands at a time. You can do it however you want. Be as creative as you can. Oh, that one seems to be slippy. Okay. Do that one more time so you can see how easy that is. Oops. There we go. And that is it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'd love to see your finished projects. If you'd like to share a photograph of one of the projects that you've made, I'd love to see it. You could go ahead and post it on my Facebook page at Whippy Chick. I'll leave the link below.